Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the middle of your work week hump day. You're rocking and rolling with the baddest and the brightest in the land here, and that being yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. In my own words, #1 source for your Crimson Tide football. Happy to have each and every last one of you checking us out on today. We're coming to you from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming this to you on YouTube. Speaking of a channel, go ahead right now, drop a thumbs up, give a like on the show, hit that subscribe button, turn all of those notifications on, hit that bell to make sure that you are getting all of your alerts on your favorite program. That being Alabama football. We also got you covered on Facebook and Twitter as well. All forms of social media streaming to you the show. We got quite a few things to jump into to unpack as Crimson Tide continuing with fall camp as we are 24 days away from your Crimson Tide against the Miami Hurricanes to open the season on Saturday, September 4th, 2:30 p.m. Central Time at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. So excited, so pumped up here for this football game. Guys, shout out my man, John Avery, in the building, handling this thing there in the production studio. We want you guys to be a part of tonight's show, and you can do this by calling 205-448-1358. That's the number right there to let your voice be heard. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you. But Daily Super Chat Go, $75. Daily Super Chat Go. Appreciate the support coming from you as the fans of this show. But we jump into right now, first topic here of conversation, and it goes to the inside linebacker position, and in particular, one Henry To'oTo'o. I mean, there's a lot that's going on about Henry To'oTo'o. There's a lot of things popping off about this young man right now. And one thing I've always learned, or I've always been taught, is when there's smoke, a fire is not too far behind. When there's smoke, a fire is not too far behind. And when you look at To'oTo'o and the conversation he has drawn throughout fall camp since he's gotten here, it's been a lot of great quality conversations. And, you know, it was one thing to have his former teammates at Tennessee speak well of him. It was one thing to have his former teammates for the Volunteers say what a great guy he is, what a great teammate he is, what an elite player he is, what a great communicator he is. It's one thing for the Tennessee guys to say it right, but since then, we have heard Nick Saban rave about To'oTo'o and his personality and his leadership and his communication skills and just his job or his role in being a team player. We have heard Pete Golding talk about this. Coach Golding mentioned on Sunday in the Alabama Football Media Day that in terms of a transfer, To'oTo'o is above and beyond anything he's ever seen, he's ever had, he's ever brought in. And now you've gotten even Alabama players speaking high on To'oTo'o. Alabama players really raving about him. Alabama players even calling him, this guy is the real deal here. And what's intriguing for me is, as much as I love Jalen Moody, and I do, and there's an intense battle going on here between Moody and To'oTo'o for this inside linebacker job, for this middle linebacker spot. And I like Moody. And this was the same Moody that came in 2018, a 3-star from South Carolina. To me, was a bit underrated. It should have been a 4-star in my opinion, but came in as a 3-star, 225 pounds at 6'2", had a really good spring, and this past season filled in admirably for Christian Harris in the game against Arkansas, put up strong numbers in that contest. And then Coach Saban mentioned, hey, this guy right here, Moody, has put himself in a position to be a starter. And as much as I like Moody, and I really do like Moody, it's when there's so much conversation on a particular player, it is very hard to pass on that player. When there is so much talk going on about a particular guy, it's very hard to pass on him. And I know what some people are saying, well, Steven, To'oTo'o just got here, right? Moody's been in this system going on his 4th year. Moody's been involved with Pete Golding going on his 4th year. Moody's been at this Alabama program his whole career. Like, Moody knows To'oTo'o just got here, so it's got to be Moody, right? Here's my thought on that. Think about this. The last 2 years, To'oTo'o was coached by Jeremy Pruitt. Jeremy Pruitt is a Nick Saban disciple. So the concepts that Pruitt ran at Tennessee are very similar concepts that Saban runs here at Alabama. The terminology may be different, the word jargon may be different, but the concepts are very similar. The concepts are basically the same. And this is the reason why Pete Golding talked about To'oTo'o already knows a lot about this Alabama defense because he's been playing in it at Tennessee due to the concepts being the same between both of the programs, and Jeremy Pruitt being a Nick Saban disciple. But just getting back into Otto and the leadership, you've got players speaking high on this young man. I mean, first and foremost, Christian Harris. Christian Harris this week said, hey, this guy came in here ready to ball. He came in here ready to work. He came in here hitting the ground running. He came in here putting his head down, no bull jive, no nonsense. He came prepared to go. And it's been awesome seeing what he's done. And that's Christian Harris, who will play at the weak side linebacker position. And then you've got Will Anderson, of whom said, Henry's been great. He's been a tremendous leader, a tremendous communicator. I mean, he gets us in the right calls, the right sets, the right checks, the right looks, the right formations. If we're doing something wrong, he steps on our toes and makes sure we get our act together, we get our butt in line. Like, I like him. He's really great. And this is coming from Will Anderson and Christian Harris, two leaders on the team. And just going back to Will Anderson's thought of great communicator. He puts us in the right spots. He puts us in the right plays. He puts us in the right scheme. He puts us in the right formation. He makes the right audibles on the field. Just going back to all of these things that Anderson said, it reminds me of what Alabama had with Rolando McClain, with C.J. Mosley, with Reuben Foster, with the recent dominance that Bama has had at the inside linebacker position, the play caller, the signal caller at that spot. And, for you as Alabama fans, the question that you guys have had is, will Alabama have that signal caller in the middle of that defense that will have this team in the right formations, in the right plays, in the right checks, in the right audibles, where if these fastball, no-huddle, high-speed offenses try to do something, Bama's got a linebacker in the middle of that defense that can counteract it, that can counterpunch it, and can make sure that this front and the secondary and everybody on that defense is flying to the ball in the right spot, in the right area, making the right play. That's what we need, and it looks like Henry To'oTo'o is the guy doing it, especially coming from Will Anderson and Christian Harris, but not just those two, coming from Pete Golding and Coach Saban as well. And this is a big deal. It's a big deal because the entire offseason, what has the conversation been on? Offense is going to be fine. Offense is going to be okay. Bill O'Brien comes over. If Nick Saban brought Bill O'Brien in, he must see something special in O'Brien. Bryce Young's going to be fine. Offense is going to be good. The question has been, will this defense be elite? Will this defense be dominant? Will this defense be special? Will this defense be marquee? Will this defense be snatch your soul and take him for that Ghost Rider type of ride right there, Nicolas Cage style? Will the defense be at that type of standard? That's what's been the major question all offseason long. At SEC Media Days, among the first 5 questions that was thrown at Fidarian Mathis was about this defense. So getting a Henry To'oTo'o in here and just hearing the positivity coming from Coach Saban, coming from Pete Golding, and then coming from leadership guys like Will Anderson, leadership guys like Christian Harris that he has put in the work. He's hit the ground running. He's an outstanding communicator. He's doing his job there in the middle of that defense. And it's just crazy how, to me, once again, I like Moody, and I would like to see what Moody does as we continue through fall camp. But it just seems like Henry To'oTo'o has put himself in a position to start at that inside linebacker or start at that middle linebacker role there for the Crimson Tide. But as we continue to go through fall camp, we will be providing you with more updates, more news, more information on the transfer from Tennessee, that being Henry To'oTo'o. We go to a break right now, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial. Just getting started. Upon our return, we go to the phone lines to get your calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats, your opinions, your conversations. We get to you, the Tide fans, after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
Look at all these great players in Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Man, wait till I turn up this year. I'm gonna be on the front cover. But what if Will goes off? Or Joe, DeMarco, Chris, Tim, Christian.
Don't wait. Order now at touchdownalabama.com or call 833-483-2624 today.
Christian, or Jameer.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwill Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwillsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
And we are back into the action here from the break of number one form for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine on a Wednesday hump day. Happy to have everybody checking us out on today. Got to shout out McConaughey, who was taking care of the Super Chat goal by himself. That's $75 coming in from McConaughey. Appreciate the love coming from him, helping us out here on the show. But as we're in here from the break, phone lines open. We get to that call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. That's the number right there to call in, 205-448-1358. We grab our first call of the evening. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, Roll Tide, man. This is Alan from Colorado calling back.
Hey, Al, what's going on, man?
Well, I asked a little tricky question over there on the chat section because I had something I want to talk about. I asked, does Alabama have a weakness this year? And I was answered over there, said, well, maybe quarterback, just simply because we haven't seen Bryce Young on the field. However, I remember when we got that national championship and we were riding high early in those Nick Saban days, and we went to South Carolina and they beat us. And I think one of the reasons they beat us is we didn't take them seriously. And one of the things I'm afraid of is that we might be a little overconfident this year, and just wondering what you might think about that.
That's a good thought right there, Al. That's a pretty good take right there. I don't think the team is overconfident. However, if I had to spot a weakness on the team, and I'm not going to say the quarterback position. I'm not going to say Bryce at this point. The weakness would be, if I had to spot one, to me it would be kind of at center. And the reason why I would say center is not that Chris Owens isn't good enough, but Dickerson brought just so much nastiness a season ago, and it was just so great to watch him dominate at the point of attack and bring that line together. Owens, he's got technique, he's got the knowledge of the system, but does he have that Dickerson-type nastiness? Not quite sure. So if I had to pick out one area, I would probably go center just due to that right there. But appreciate Al there for the call. We take our next call here on the show. You're live on In My Own Words. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing? This is Johnny.
Hey, Johnny, what's happening?
Nothing much. I have a question about the linebackers and a Toto, for to be specific, is is he going to be starting or what's going to be the deal with that?
Well, right now, it looks like Toto is going to be starting, especially with the conversations that we've heard from Nick Saban, that we've heard from Pete Golding and teammates around him. You don't make these types of comments unless you really feel like this guy's going to have an impact or this guy's going to start. So when you hear things like great communicator, he puts us right call, right spot, right area, right play, all of these things, especially when you didn't have, or Bama didn't have a middle linebacker doing that in these last couple of years. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I saw the videos that y'all and some of the other sites were posting about the linebackers is Shane Lee, and is he involved? It looked like he was right after Harris in the drills.
Well, early on in fall camp, this is something Nick Saban does. He likes to have the seniority go through first, and Shane Lee has been here longer than Toto, but that doesn't mean that Shane Lee is going to be the starter just due to he's ahead in drills. Saban just likes to do that early on in fall camp until he starts to put that depth chart together.
Gotcha. Thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate that call, the comment from Johnny right there on the linebackers, and in particular one, Henry Toto. It's, like I said, I do like Moody, and I'm not counting Moody out. I'm just saying it's just hard when you've got this guy who came in here who got the tendencies of the Alabama defense from playing at Tennessee, and he's already getting so much praise from not just the head coach, but his head position coach / defensive coordinator in Pete Golding, and also two huge leaders on the team when you look at Will Anderson and Christian Harris. That's a big deal. So we're going to continue to keep our eyes there on that middle linebacker position room there. But quick topic as you guys are continuing to get your thoughts in. 205-448-1358, number to call right there, 205-448-1358. Over the summer, we had some Bama players that had some huge weight gains and some significant weight losses in the program with David Ballou and Dr. Matt Ray, who put these guys through a lot in the summer conditioning program. Among the huge weight gains, I noticed that Drew Sanders gained 14 pounds, Chris Braswell gained 20 pounds, your defensive backs, Malachi Moore, Koolaid, McKinstry, Terrion Arnold, all gained significant weight, putting them 190 pounds plus, which is exactly the area that Coach Saban loves to have his cornerbacks and slot corners at that weight vicinity right there. So those were kind of the huge weight gains. In terms of weight losses, Chris Allen lost 10 pounds, going from 252 to 242. But the biggest weight loss, Evan Neal. Evan Neal dropped 15 pounds, going from 360 to 345. But you can't really tell. And the reason why you can't really tell is he's still so freakishly gifted. He's still so freakishly athletic. I mean, doing box jumps. He jumped a 48-inch box jump over the summer. That's just insane for a guy that size. I know last year he mentioned he had jumped a 36-inch box jump there, and he likes the weight that he's at now at 345. He feels more lighter on his feet. According to Coach Saban, he can sustain more at the point of attack. He's always been a perfectionist. He's always wanted to do things the right way. He's a conscious guy. He's a team guy. He's already on a number of these preseason All-America teams, preseason award watch list. Evan Neal, an opportunity to be a top 5 pick in next year's NFL draft, and he's the guy that's got to anchor this offensive unit, especially at left tackle, protecting the blind side of Bryce Young at quarterback. But we go to another call right here. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Hello?
You're live on the show, caller.
Yes. I really wonder, how healthy is Trey Sanders?
All right, good question right there. So Coach Saban mentioned this week, close to 100%. So he's got to be somewhere between 90 and 95, really close to 100%. He's back out there in practice. He's getting his burst back. He's getting the speed back. He's getting the change of direction back. So a lot of the things that make you a good running back, he's getting those back. I saw a picture today of him in practice catching a pass from Bryce Young in the indoor facility. So very close to 100%. Team is really happy to get this young man back on the field because of all that he has been through. So it's exciting, but he's real close to full health.
So, yeah, I hope he gets time, and I hope he produces.
Absolutely. Appreciate the call, man. Appreciate that call. We grab another call right here. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Nothing much. How you doing, man?
Doing well in yourself.
Not bad. I think the call before me kind of had we had some of the same thoughts. I was actually going to call about the running backs myself, but I also have a question on what do you think the offensive strategy is going to be for Alabama?
I think it's gonna be balanced. I think with Bill O'Brien, you want to see what Bryce Young does. You want to see him air it out and throw the football and have that accuracy and timing with the receivers. But at the same time, when you've got 5 running backs, you do also want to run the football. Bill O'Brien also wants to have those 2 tight ends on the field with Billingsley and Kamler too. So it's going to be balanced. Now, whether it's 50-50 or 60-40 run to pass, however they try to work that balance in there, it's going to be a more balanced attack.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. We don't have a Najee Harris, but we got so many talented running backs. Brian, Jace. Did you answer the question about Trey and Roydell? I mean, that's a lot. And then the freshman, the 5-star, slipped my mind. Sorry.
Wheaton.
Kimmy. Yeah. Well. All right, well, that's exciting. I'm just excited to know those things, and I'll be continuing to watch and tune in.
Absolutely. Appreciate that call right there. It's a lot of excitement in this running back room. Absolutely. We take our next call here. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, I'm Trey from Birmingham.
Say it again. Couldn't quite hear that there.
I'm sorry. I'm Trey Adams from Birmingham.
How we doing, man?
Hey, how are you doing? Yes. I was just calling to just touch bases on what do you guys think far as Koolaid far as the career? I know he's playing football and basketball, but how much you think that's going to weigh in on his reps during football season, and will he be able to balance that out for his basketball and football, where you think he's going to choose one or the other by the time his career is over at Alabama?
That's a very good question. I mean, because Koolaid is going to play both. He wants to play both. He got the scholarship offer from Nick Saban and Nate Oates. That is going to be intriguing to see how his body does in trying to play both sports. Now, I think with him, if he feels like at some point in his football career he can be a first-round pick corner, I think he would slide more so toward football. But that's intriguing right there because you never know how the body's going to hold up, especially if you're trying to be a dual sport athlete. Great question right there from my man from Birmingham. Going to be interesting to see that. I think in the end he will lean more so toward football, but I'll definitely keep my eyes on that. Appreciate that call right there. Coming into the studio on one, Koolaid McKinstry he's expected to have a really good freshman year for Bama. But that leads us into our next break here on the show. Don't touch that dial, because when we get back, we sit down with my man Alex Barth, who covers the New England Patriots. Mac Jones has a preseason game tomorrow against the Washington football team. We'll talk with Barth after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
As we are back into the action from the break, I'm number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Before we get to Alex Barth here, got to have this it's a little bit of an update, as we already provided this update a little bit earlier today, but Xavier Williams, Alabama wide receiver, there had been a lot of concerns about Williams, of him not being listed on the updated roster. Where is he? Is he okay? Is he in the transfer portal? What's going on with Xavier Williams? Where is Ziggy? I can't quite see where he is in terms of the roster. Now, of course, prior to Nick Saban speaking on this today, I got a chance to talk with very respectable people inside the program, and the thought was, Xavier's been dealing with some medical issues and will more than likely will not play in the upcoming season. Of course, Coach Saban confirmed this today during his presser on Williams having these medical issues, having the situation out for the foreseeable future, will not play in the upcoming campaign. And this stings because the young man from Hollywood, Florida, at 6'1", 195 pounds, can do a lot of things. Saban said he's a jack of all trades. He can play inside. He can play outside. He can play in the slot. He can return kicks. He can return punts. Just a guy that's a great team player, a guy that's a very talented wide receiver. Came in the 2018 class with Slade Bolden, with Jalen Waddle, and people had a lot of high hopes for Zigzag. Just unfortunately, the medical mishaps had to occur here. Now, he was able to come down, he was able to be good down the stretch of a 2020 campaign, especially in matchups against Florida in the SEC Championship, Notre Dame in the college football playoff semifinal, the Rose Bowl, and of course against Ohio State in the national championship, making some catches in each of those matchups. Just this time around, according to Coach Saban, medical issues with Xavier Williams, no longer listed on the updated roster and out for the foreseeable future, which means he will not be playing in this upcoming season. And a thought right here is, will this hurt the team? I don't see it hurting the team, just due to, if I've said this once, I've said this a million times, Nick Saban stockpiles positions. He stockpiles these four positions better than anybody else in college football. And that's running back, wide receiver, defensive back, and linebacker. Running back, receiver, DB, and linebacker. Saban gets all the 4 and 5 stars at those slots. Now, he's getting more quarterbacks, absolutely, especially since Jalen and Tua. We saw what Mac Jones did. You got Bryce Young in here, Jalen Milroe. In the future, could see Ty Simpson, maybe Arch Manning, who knows? But the four positions I've recently named are the main four that Saban tends to hit home runs and get studs at. And, it's just crazy how, unfortunately, what happened to Zigzag. But, Bama's recruited well at wide receiver. They've got freshmen ready to play. They got other young guys ready to get after it. So thoughts there are with Xavier Williams that he gets, fully cleared and fully, 100% healthy. But right now, we're going to get to we actually have a call in the queue. We have a call in the queue. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Stephen, we're having some problems here. New Jack ain't feeling good now. He's wanting to leave the show. Now, he's got to stay on the show. I've got to have him. He's my entertainment into this show. Ain't nobody want to hear me sing. You reckon you can get him on the cover of TDA magazine? Help me out here, Stephen, please.
I mean, We want all the callers. We want all the callers, Wayne. We want all the callers. We want all the guests. We want all the fans because it's you guys that help this show go. It's you guys that make this show special. It's you guys that make my job a heck of a lot easier. So we want everybody. We want New Jack. We want everybody.
Yeah, we got to have everybody in here, New Jack. We got to have you now. But I'll tell you what, I got to get out of here. Those Blue Rinse games looking good. Mechanic looking good with a 75. I'll tell you what, everybody calling in, all the cities, towns, countries, and states. TD appreciates it. You got to remember this song. All the girls all get prettier at closing time. Stephen sure looks like a movie star. I'll catch y'all Friday. Bye-bye, everybody.
Appreciate the call that coming from our own Wayland here on the show. Once again, as we continue to get our man Alex Barth in here to talk the New England Patriots and Mac Jones in this preseason game. Getting back to the thought of Xavier Williams and will this hurt the Alabama football team? I don't think it does, just seeing how you have Asia Hall in here. You've got JoJo Earl in here. You have Christian Leary in here. You've got Ja'Cory Brooks in here. You've got not only Mechie and Slade Bolden, but you got Jamison Williams. You got Trayshawn Holden. You got Javon Baker. Just grove on grove on grove on grove of receivers. And on top of that, you got the two special tight ends in Jaleel Billingsley and Cameron Latou. And you got running backs that can catch the ball out of the backfield as well. I just feel like it hurts for Zig because, he was an older guy and you wanted to see him on the field making plays. He was an older guy and you wanted to see him finally shine and get that opportunity. But does it hurt the Alabama receiving room? Does it hurt the team? Absolutely not, because of how much Saban recruits that position. Guys, shout out my man Big Bill! Big Bill from New York with that $5 donation. Appreciate the love there from my man Bill helping us out here on the show. Folks, we're going to take a quick break here. When we get back, we will have my man Alex Barth. Don't touch that dial. We're coming back after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full-year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Marvin Constant, All-SEC linebacker and 1999 SEC champion. You are listening to In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
We are back in here from the break on number one forum for Bama football news on a Wednesday. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. People, I am pumped for tomorrow. I am really pumped for Thursday. We got an NFL preseason game between the New England Patriots and the Washington football team. We got Mac Jones, Damian Harris, Christian Barmore, Donta Hightower versus Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne, Sean Dion Hamilton, Landon Collins, I think Reuben Foster still on the team as well, and Cam Sims. I mean, Bama on Bama on Bama on Bama crime in this preseason matchup. But I'm excited to see what Mac Jones does in this game right here, because you got to think he is going to get a lot of work. He is going to get some reps. He is going to get quite the amount of opportunities. I don't see Cam Newton out there for more than, a couple of series. It's because, Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels, they want to see what they've got here in Mac. But right now, we go to the phone lines. We pick up a guy that we've had him on a couple of times before. You as the fans, you've appreciated him so much, you wanted to have him back. And that's my man Alex Barth, covering the New England Patriots, beat writer, sports radio personality for 98.5 the Sports Hub. Alex, man, welcome back into the jungle, man. How you feeling?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Sorry, I'm a little late there. It's hectic times up here. It's we're getting ready for this game. Big one. Biggest preseason game in Patriots history.
Absolutely. Happy to have Alex Barth here on the show to talk some Patriots, talk some Bama with the Patriots, and in particular one, Mac Jones. So, Alex, this is a huge opportunity for Mac. As we all know, Patriots drafted him in the first round, number 15 overall in this recent venue. We know Cam Newton's going to probably get a couple of series, but this is a game where Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels can see, what do we have here in our number 15 overall pick? What do we have here in Mac Jones? What do you expect to see from him in the game on Thursday? What do the Patriot fans expect to see from him?
So that's the big question, Steven, because we're kind of in uncharted territory here. Bill Belichick never really had to manage quarterbacks in the preseason, a quarterback situation in the preseason like he does. And it's also 3 preseason games instead of 4 for the first time. So it truly is unknown. My expectation would be that because there's so many new starters on offense, Bill is going to want Cam to get some time with them. So I think we see Cam for a series or 2. And then Mac Jones, I think, will get significant time tomorrow night. If I had to guess, I would think he comes in for Cam midway through the first quarter, plays the first quarter, plays the entire second quarter, because they're going to want to get him a 2-minute drill if they can get him a 2-minute drill. And then I think he comes out and plays the beginning of the third quarter, too. I don't think he'll play the whole thing, only a series or 2, but they want to get him game ready. And part of that is learning what he needs to do, go into the locker room at halftime, make adjustments, and then execute those adjustments on the field. And the way you do that is having him play into the third quarter. So I think we see a good amount of him tomorrow night. The real question to me, more so than how much does he play, is who does he play with, right? Do the entire starters come off when Cam Newton comes off and he's out there with the backups, or does he go out there and play with the starters? Because if he's just out there with the backups, that tells me, okay, they're trying to get him some game reps, but they're not too worried about him building chemistry. If he's out there with the starters, then it's like, okay, they're trying to get him ready as soon as possible. And it's tough to say which one it's going to be. We'll find out tomorrow night. But I think that's the real question is, as
Absolutely.
much as it's how much does he play, who does he play with?
Absolutely. Join here live with Alex Barth here, covering the New England Patriots, 98.5, the Sports Hub, live here on In My Own Words on a Wednesday. So, Alex, when you look at there have been a lot of players for New England that have been praising Mac Jones, including offensive tackle Trent Brown, who said, this guy can be special. He makes a lot of throws that other young quarterbacks cannot make. When you've been out there, how have you seen the special skill set of Jones with his ability his ability to make those throws, as one Brown said, that a lot of guys may not be able to make on the field?
So I'll give you an example, and ironically, this wasn't one of his. They played an end ideally, but there was one play last week where Mac's working with the ones against the ones, and a blitz comes from the blind side. Somebody must have said something. I don't know how he sees the rusher, but just a little subtle half shuffle to his right, buys himself an extra second, picks up the receiver down the field. It was tight end Jonnu Smith running up the seam, and Mac just resets his feet, pipes one right up the seam, right on Jonnu Smith's back shoulder, a pure timing play. You can tell there's chemistry already between those two. Now, unfortunately, it hit Jonnu right in the hands. Unfortunately, he tipped it up in the air and it got picked off. So it doesn't end ideally, but offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels happened to say during the week, he was asked about training camp stats, and he said that they look more at intent than actual result. And if you want to talk about intent, that was a high-level play for Mac Jones. Rookies don't come in and make that play. And more often than not, the receiver's going to come down with that ball. It's not going to be intercepted. If I'm coaching him, I go back, I see that play on film, and I say, hey, that you were right here. Do that again. Don't worry about the result. So, it's a weird example to use because, again, it did end in an interception, but everything up to that, it was so high level and at the details, like down to the details. It's not that it was this great athletic play. Oh, my God. It was just such a detail-driven play. And he had that nailed. And that was that was the first moment I think I was like, okay, yeah, this kid, I see why they took him in the first round. I see why everybody said he's so NFL ready.
If you're just tuning into the show here on a Wednesday, we got Alex Barth here joining us, beat reporter for the New England Patriots, also sports radio personality for 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Patriots' first preseason game on tomorrow against the Washington football team. Mac Jones in action here for those Patriots. Now, a two-parter here, Alex. Number one, how many series can you see Mac getting? And then aside from Mac, who are the other former Bama guys for the Patriots that you are excited to watch in this one?
Sure. Series, I mean, it's going to be a few. I'll call it, let's say that there's 4 offensive series for a team per quarter. I think he could get 7 to 8 if we're using that. Again, I think he plays most of the first quarter, the whole second quarter, and the very beginning of the third. So, yeah, call it 8 series, I guess is what that would be. In terms of other Alabama players, I was really excited to see Christian Barmore. He's been dominant in practice. Unfortunately, he's dealing with a toe injury. So they haven't said anything officially, but my guess would be he's not going to play tomorrow night. I don't think we'll see much of Damian Harris just because they generally don't play their starting running backs a ton in these preseason games. Donta Hightower, I would think, too, as a veteran, will sit out. But Anthony Jennings, he had a quiet start to practice, but he's come on strong these last couple days, and he's been playing a lot of inside linebacker, which is new. He didn't do that last year. And they have a need at that position, some depth behind Donta Hightower. So I think he really has a chance to kind of solidify his spot on the roster tomorrow night. I think he has a chance to open some eyes. So I think Anthony Jennings could have a big night tomorrow night.
He's Alex Barth, ladies and gentlemen, joining us live here on the show covering the New England Patriots for 98.5 The Sports Hub out of Boston. Alex, man, as always, appreciate you coming on. Outstanding work on your end. Enjoy the game tomorrow, my friend.
Anytime, man.
Absolutely. Happy to have Alex Barth here on the show helping us out. Going to have my eyes on Mac Jones. Said Christian Barmore dealing with a toe problem. Man, I want to see Barmore tomorrow, but he did mention that Anthony Jennings will be on that field. So going to be great to see Jennings, going to be great to see Mac Jones, and just how those two will be able to get the job done there for the Patriots against the Washington football team. We take a break right now, folks, but don't touch that down. When we return, we get back into the phone lines to take your calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats, your interactions. It's coming after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit weownthefourthquarter.com now to get your 4-finger bling necklace.
This is Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Back in, folks. We're back in from the break of the number one forum for Bama. Football news on a Wednesday, hump day. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. Touchdown Alabama Magazine. The Crimson Tide continuing to move through fall camp. Got a few super chats to get to right now. So how about Willie351? My man Willie351 still dropping them sevens, that 777, and the super chats from him. And then Gucci Tide has come back with a $10 donation, a pair of fives, those crisp Abraham Lincolns, helping us out there. Appreciate the love from Willie351 and Gucci Tide here on the show. But as always, we got the phone lines open, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. We grab this call right here. You're live on the show. What's going on?
What's going on, Stephen? This is your boy Scooby Lou from the NO, the third war, that Magnolia, the home of the soldier, little baby. Hey, I got my beanies on. I'm doing the second line that we speak. You heard me? I'm ready. The hurricane, the U, it's all about the road tie. I just had it called in. I'm turning all the way up down here to NO, representing that Magnolia, third war. We out of here, baby.
Appreciate Scoob, man. Gotta have Scoob calling. Scoob is A1. Scoob is A1. Appreciate Scoob there. That call, getting us in here in the show here. As you guys are continuing to get your thoughts in, 205-448-1358, the number right there, 205-448-1358. Got to transition to this right here. So Brian Robinson, B-Rob, is getting the opportunity to be the main guy. He's getting the chance to be the primary running back here for Alabama, and he's waited his time for this moment. The Tuscaloosa native who came to the Crimson Tide in 2017, four-star from Hillcrest High School. I did a lot of self-scouting on Brian Robinson and saw how good he was playing at Hillcrest. He's been behind Bo Scarborough, Damian Harris, Najee Harris, Josh Jacobs, but now it's his time. Now it's his moment. Now it is his opportunity. Coach Saban has talked about it. He's worked his tail off. He's worked his butt off. Doesn't really get a whole ton of credit, but he's been put in a situation to where now he's got to grab the bull by the horns and be the main back in that room. Now, he's already mentioned he's no Najee Harris. So we're not going to see any hurdling from Brian Robinson. For people that love the hurdle, you're going to have to get a little bit quiet, a little bit sad, because you're not going to see any hurdling from Brian Robinson. Of course, you will see him lower his shoulder. You will see him run over people. You will also see him step on a couple of guys. He did do that in the national championship game against Ohio State. There were a couple of Buckeyes that got stepped on by one B-Rob. So no hurdle, but you will see some guys getting plowed through by Brian Robinson. It's just awesome that seeing this young man get this opportunity. The main thing for him is, can he hold it throughout the season? Because he's got some young guys behind him. Jace McClellan has been on a tear all summer, working with Brad Lester, getting not only his speed and explosiveness even more in order, but also his power, his pass blocking ability. You got Roydell Williams. He's got a gear to him. Everybody is excited for Trey Sanders. He's nearing 100% healthy. He's nearing 100% healthy. And we all know a healthy Trey Sanders means a lot for this football team. And then you've got a Kamar Wheaton, a freshman of whom he's fast and he's looking good out there as well. So you got 5 running backs on the roster, but B-Rob getting that chance to be the number 1 primary back for this football team. We go to our next break here on the show, but folks, when we get back, we tidy up loose ends with talking Koolaid McKinstry. What type of year could he have as a freshman? He's already popping off in camp. We'll talk Koolaid after this.
This is Matt Caddell, former Alabama wide receiver, and you're listening to In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith with Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And I got 2 words to say, baby. Roll Tide.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Alabama sneakers. They feature bold crimson graphics, so no one will be able to call your allegiance slide when you add the sneakers to your Alabama section. Go wear code Alabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TD Alabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to STSFootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we're back in from the break here. Number one forum for your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. Touchdown, Alabama Magazine on a Wednesday. And before we talk about one Kool-Aid McKinstry, got to remind you of TDAwear.com. That's TDAwear.com. So for all of you fans still overjoyed with the Crimson Tide's national championship, we want you to check out our championship collection merch. Now, this means you grab you an 18 of them things, folk. Hoodie, t-shirt, or sweatshirt, as well as our Got 18 We Do shirts. Designs that feature all 18 championship years on the back. You head on over to TDAwear.com. Do it right now. TDAwear.com. You go over championship collection merch tab, and you get you that gear today, showing that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. But now we dive into one Kool-Aid McKinstry. I mentioned in the first segment about Henry To'o, when there is smoke, fire is not too far behind. When so many people are talking about you, there's got to be some truth to it. There's got to be some kind of truth to it. And where Kool-Aid is concerned, he's been popping off all camp long. And it's, going back to Kool-Aid was a 3-time Class 6A state champion in high school. Played at Pinson Valley, just outside, north of the Birmingham area. But Kool-Aid, 3-time 6A state champion. His high school head coach was Sam Shade, former Alabama safety, played in the 90s. So you can see where he gets his physicality, his toughness, his fly around and hit people, his stick, his nose in plays. You kind of see where he gets it from because he's been coached by a former Bama legend. And so Kool-Aid then comes to the University of Alabama, and Nick Saban talks about how he's been picking up things, he's been learning things, he's been adjusting well. He's looked great out there, he's looked fine out there on the field. And then the spring game happens, and McKinstry, 3 interceptions, a pass breakup, a fumble recovery, an interception. Nick Saban yells at him a little bit, like all of this stuff happens. And then you go into fall camp, and you got Coach Saban talking about him, Pete Golding talking about him. You got players talking about him. Like, Kool-Aid is getting a lot of talk. Kool-Aid is getting a lot of conversation. And I do like Jang and Armour Davis. I really do. And I think Armour Davis is right now still trying to hold his own. But Kool-Aid is getting a lot of the talk. Kool-Aid is getting a lot of the poppin' right now. You go to Jordan Battle, and Jordan Battle was like, hey, this dude right here, physical. This dude right here, freak of nature. This dude right here can be really, really good for us. Really instinctive player. And then you got Will Anderson, who said, he's handled the freshman hype well. He has not let it get to him. He's a humble guy. He comes to work every day. He comes hungry. He comes enthusiastic. He comes with energy. Kool-Aid loves flying around the field, hitting people, making plays. That's what he enjoys. And Will Anderson said that's why you come to Alabama. You come to Alabama to fly around, to make plays, to have fun, and to hit people. That's why you come to Alabama. That's the purpose of choosing the Crimson Tide. So Kool-Aid already earning his stripes from not just the coaching staff, but also leaders on the team. But the question is, let's just say hypothetically Kool-Aid starts at right corner. Let's just say he passes up J.A.D. in camp and Kool-Aid gets to start here at right corner. What would be the freshman season he could have? Because we've seen a lot of really good corners come through this program. We've seen Dre Kirkpatrick come through. He took his lumps and his bumps early on, but Dre ended up becoming a very solid corner. D. Milner came to the program. D. Milner took his lumps and bumps early on, but Milner ended up being a very solid corner. I think he had, 20-plus pass breakups in the 2012 season, leading Bama to a national championship victory over Notre Dame. I mean, Milner had a good year. You had Cyrus Jones. Cyrus had some issues early on, but he grew, became really good. The same thing with Marlon Humphrey. The same thing with Patrick Surtain and other guys that have come through the program, especially those that got playing time as freshmen. So where Koolaid is concerned, what type of a freshman year could he have? And I know I've made the comparison to Dre Kirkpatrick because you look at the dreads, you look at the confidence, you look at the cockiness, you look at the swag, you look at how intense he is, how physical Koolaid is. All of that reminds me of Dre Kirkpatrick. But just going back to what Pete Golding said about how he's got the speed, he's got the short area quickness, he's got the length, he's got the athleticism, he's got the high ball skills that we need. And that kind of reminds me of a little D. Milner without the injuries, right? So it's what type of a freshman year could Koolaid have? Could he have a full-on Dre year where he starts off kind of struggling and then grows as the season progresses? Could he have a D. Milner type year where he just instantly balls out and breaking up passes, getting interceptions, creating all types of havoc, frustrating receivers, being a freshman All-SEC, maybe a freshman All-American? Can he have that type of year? It's very intriguing with Koolaid because right now everybody's talking about it. Everybody's saying his name. I mean, from the moment he got on campus, Nick Saban, well, Koolaid's doing this, Koolaid's doing that. Koolaid looks great. Koolaid's picking stuff up. Koolaid's adjusting. Koolaid is out there on the field learning from everybody else. And then you have the A-Day game. Koolaid, don't walk on the bleep field. You have that from Coach Saban, which we all know when Nick Saban goes off on defensive backs, it's normally he sees something special in you. Saban doesn't typically go off if he does not see big talent in you that he wants to pull out. I mean, you can ask guys like Tony Brown. You can ask guys like Eddie Jackson. You can ask guys like Ronnie Harrison. You can ask just so many different DBs that play here at Alabama. When Nick Saban goes off on you, when Nick Saban yells at you, when Nick Saban makes a comment in your direction, 9 times out of 10, he sees the jewel in you. He sees the diamond in you. He sees the playmaking abilities inside of you. He just wants to polish off the rough edges. He just wants to smooth off all of the unrefined parts to make you a refined big-time playmaker, a refined big-time defensive back for the Crimson Tide program. So what type of a year could we see from Koolaid? What type of a year could we expect from McKinstry? That's going to be interesting. And we will come back to this conversation because she could have a Dre Kirkpatrick type year. She could have a D. Milner type year. He could have a Marlon Humphrey type year. I mean, you really don't know, but it's exciting to see what he does on the field. He's handling the hype well. He's handling the attention well. He's popping off in camp, and he's got himself in position to be a starter at the cornerback spot in the secondary here for Alabama. But as always, Tide fans, you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage on your favorite program. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio listening needs, we got you right here, iTunes, our Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll be back on Friday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link will be in the description. If you're also trying to get that print edition, that fresh edition of TDA the magazine, you can do this by going to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member, a subscriber today. That link is also in the description. If you're also trying to get that 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys at weownthefourthquarter.com. That's weownthefourthquarter.com. That link in the description too. But until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives, appreciate, value those husbands. Children, continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing. To not be bored. You get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and this has been In My Own Words.